Ubisoft is collapsing, and nothing can be done to save it at this point. And you know what? That puts a smile on my face. You reap what you sow. Ubisoft is a terrible Vogue slop company. They deserve everything. Do not cry, do not feel pity for a single person working at Ubisoft getting unemployment. They deserve this. They wanted this. They hate us. If you're a gamer, do not get this twisted. Ubisoft absolutely despises us. They despise everything about us. These people are not our allies. Whatever Ubisoft did good tens of years ago, there's nothing left of this company anymore. They made Assassin's Creed Shadows, George Floyd edition. If you did not know, the Yasuke was literally modeled after George Floyd. It's disgusting, it's folk, it's garbage, and these people deserve the worst in life. Very simple. If they want to go after what we like, what our hobbies are, just because we're having fun, but they think that they need to push their moral high ground on us, no, fuck that. You get what you get what you deserve, Ubisoft, and this is it. Tencent can't save you. You're dead. You're absolutely underground at this point. And not in the Need for Speed way, but in the coffin way.
We have an interesting follow-up story to this lawsuit that was happening against former Ubisoft executives. If you guys forgot this story, let me...
3 Ubisoft chiefs found guilty of enabling culture of SA. Actually, forget what I say. Ubisoft's pretty based. It is what it is.
Apparently, 3 former Ubisoft executives that were fired after it was discovered that they were doing bad things in the office. Apparently, they got sued by these people.
I mean, how bad are we actually talking about here, okay? Are we talking a Blizzard went on a company field trip, brought lube and a butt plug for one of the female colleagues bad, or... what exactly? How bad are we talking about here, okay?
And they lost. They were found guilty of enabling a culture of sexual harassment over at Ubisoft. Now, everybody thought when they were found guilty, that was going to be the end of it. To my knowledge, they got no jail time, which is insane, but they were still found guilty regardless.
Well, they have a lot of money. Why would you put people with money in prison? Prison's for poor people.
Well, apparently, this is only going to continue to get worse because now Ubisoft's own CEO, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Yves himself, Ubisoft's CEO is now being summoned to appear before the French court in relation to the harassment trial, as the publisher says it will continue to cooperate with the justice system in this matter. This situation has exploded beyond the initial phase of what it was, because now if you are involving Ubisoft CEO Yves, this is going to be a major issue.
Nice.
So we're going to cover exactly why he is going to be summoned in the French court system right now. But if you guys are new here, just leave a comment down below on this video. Let me know what you think about this situation. So Ubisoft, comment
here, like, subscribe, and tell me why you hate Ubisoft. I mean, there's going to be an infinity amount of hate towards Ubisoft.
Ubisoft says that the court has already decided that there are no grounds to initiate criminal proceedings against the company or its management. Again, I don't understand how these people got away scot-free. I really don't. I don't understand how they could all be found guilty of doing all these things, and yet somehow were just let to be scot-free. You know, they were found guilty of psychological harassment and complicity in sexual harassment, according to this particular article. Now, if we look here, it says Ubisoft CEO Yves has been summoned to appear before a French court following a trial in which 3 former executives were found guilty of workplace harassment in June. In that trial, Sergey, Tommy, and Patrux were all given fines and suspended sentences ranging between 12 months and 3 years after being convicted based on accusations including sexual misconduct, bullying, and systemic racism. Which, you know what's funny about this? These are all...
oh god, is this actually even real? Because systemic racism is not real.
All things that Ubisoft claims to be against, which is hilarious, right? They've been virtue signaling for years now, claiming to be against all this stuff, and meanwhile, it was happening under their own nose. It was happening in their own house by multiple executives.
I mean, this is not exactly a situation where it's happening under your nose. You're the one committing it, okay? This is not like, oh, wow, I did not know this is happening. This is like, oh, the executives are doing these things and everyone's fine with it. That there's a difference.
Executives. I can only imagine it's probably even more than the 3 that were caught, but I'm sure they don't want people to know that. But in any case, all 3 either resigned or were dismissed from Ubisoft following reports of their conduct back in 2020. And 2020 was the year of virtue signaling. Everybody and their mother was virtue signaling against all of this stuff, racism probably at the most because of what happened. So again, I just find it hilarious that the companies that virtue signal the most are the ones that are doing it in their own house. But now the trade union, Solidaires Informatique, and 4 other individuals who were all involved in that original trial have filed a subpoena instructing Eve to appear before the Brobigny District Court on October 1st. Jesus Christ, man. They are subpoenaing this guy. They are not going to let him go. As reported by French news network BFM TV via VGC, the summons is in relation to that trial that took place. In a statement to the VGC, Ubisoft confirmed that it had received summons from the union and related parties to appear before the court, specifying that these are the same civil parties and this summons is based on the same facts as those in the case judged by the court this past June, following an investigation by the public prosecutor's office. Ubisoft added that after the investigation, and contrary to the civil parties' request, the public prosecutor's office decided that there were no grounds to initiate criminal proceedings against Ubisoft or its management, a decision it confirmed during its closing arguments at the hearing of last June. So at the very least, it doesn't...
Good. Ubisoft, again, deserves all of this. They hate gamers, they hate white people, they hate men, they hate everyone, except a couple of things.
Seem like they're going to be going after Ubisoft in any way that is going to lead to any kind of criminal trial, criminal proceedings. It doesn't matter. It doesn't look like they're going to be doing that, but they might have to deal with other issues. It says Ubisoft concluded by saying that it would continue to cooperate with the justice system in this matter, as it has done over the past 5 years in the review of the facts related to this case. Hascott, formerly Ubisoft's chief creative officer, received an 18-month suspension.
I wonder what the hell even constitutes as psychological harassment. Like, what are we talking about here? Because again, Ubisoft is a woke company, and all of their people are completely blatantly insane. Remember, Ubisoft was gonna try and intimidate people who talk negatively about the people who made Assassin's Creed Shadows online with their lawyers. That's how absolutely autistic Ubisoft is. You can't make this garbage up. So what exactly constitutes psychological harassment? I have no clue.
Sentence and a fine of $47,190 after being found guilty of psychological harassment and complicity in a sexual harassment. According to both court testimonies in an internal Ubisoft investigation, employees under Hascott were subjected to racial slurs and Islamophobic pranks. Now, again, this whole
boy, wow, based
thing has been a wild
story. Bad
YouTube.
I mean, bad.
I don't know what's gonna happen to Eve. I don't know what's gonna happen to Ubisoft. I really don't know what's gonna happen overall. But I do find it very interesting that they are subpoenaing him to summon before the court, even after everything has already been taken care of. If you guys forgot, this matter is pretty much closed. At least that's what I thought anyway. The fact that they were found guilty to me pretty much says that all of this has been closed. You know, former staff had said that between 2012 and 2020, the company's offices in Montreal, east of Paris, were run with a toxic culture of bullying and sexism that one worker likened to a boys' club above the law. The state prosecutor, Antoine, has told the court that the world of video...
By the way, is anyone shocked that this is France, not Canada? Of course not. Imagine this happening in Canada. No, of course not.
Video games in its subculture had an element of systemic sexism and potential abuse and called the trial a turning point for the gaming world. Now, obviously, they tried to turn it into this massive activism kind of trial and all that nonsense. Nobody was believing this bullshit. But at the end of the day, they were found guilty of these things. So people, you know, are going to be thinking what they want to think about Ubisoft now. And at this point, this
attempt to this say, ooh, man,
company deserves it, right? I think it's honestly hilarious that this company that virtue signals all the way through to the end is also the same company that also has lost a lawsuit regarding this nonsense. The court even apparently heard how he once tied a female member of staff to a chair with tape, pushed the chair into a lift, and pressed a button at random. He was also accused of forcing...
Damn, Ubisoft, I'm almost sad to see you go at this point. I mean, things happen, you know, it is what it is.
Seeing one woman wearing a skirt to do handstands. She told the court he was my superior and I was afraid of him. He made me do handstands. I did it to get it over with and to get rid of him. At a 2015 office Christmas party with a Back to the Future theme, Francois allegedly told a member of the staff that he liked her 1950s dress. He then allegedly stepped towards her to kiss her on the mouth as his colleagues restrained her by the arms and back. She shouted and broke free. Francois had told the court that there was a culture of joking around, he said. I never tried to harm anyone. Sergei Haskot, 59, Ubisoft's former chief creative officer and second in command, was found guilty.
Dude, this is why you want to always be a C-suite executive in all of these companies, because this is normal. I'm just gonna spill the beans, okay? This is normal and happening in every single fucking corporation around the world, okay? This is just life. Ubisoft's not even special in this, okay? This happens constantly, okay? You're either in it or you're not. It is what it is. And if you're not working there. Or maybe you're stacking fucking boxes. And you're not even invited to the Christmas party, okay? Wild shit happens in the Christmas parties.
Of the psychological harassment and complicity in
And
sexual
you
harassment.
kind of just have to roll the dice and hope you're in one of those places where everyone's not gay. And because that also exists, sadly. It is what it is, boys. Yes, full-blown... it's not always perfect, you know?
So, again, guys, this entire thing has been a crazy, crazy story. Ubisoft has a lot of things to worry about, on top of the fact that their company has been completely falling into the freaking ocean at this point. Tencent has come in and
You'll love to see it.
gave them a little bit of money in order to try to save them temporarily, knowing that they are going to eventually sweep in and take those...
Again, Tencent gave them 12 billion to pay off their debts effectively and get more control over Ubisoft. Now, the problem is Europe's not going to allow that. Now, the USA may actually allow China to take over everything they own, but no, Europe's not going to allow... Tencent is just effectively a extended arm of the Communist Party of China. So that's not going to be allowed. Tencent is not going to be allowed to do that. So that's going to be fun.
Beautiful IPs that they desperately want control over for really cheap. That's Tencent's ultimate goal. They've done this with many companies before. They're going to do it with you.
This is not Tencent's... this is not how this is supposed to work. Tencent invests in companies and wants the hopes that they become more expensive. Tencent... Like, oh my god, people are making so much shit up about the Tencent Ubisoft situation. Listen, let's look at this from a logical perspective, right? Let's forget about the emotions. Let's forget about everything. So let's imagine you're Tencent. You want control of Ubisoft. Ubisoft's current stock prices are 30 a pop. So you invest, I don't know how much into that, so you own like 10% of the company. Okay, that's great. So what do you want now? For the share price to go up or collapse to like 1/5 of that? Probably for it to go up, because if it collapses, you just lost money for no fucking reason. You lost 80% of your investment for no reason. If you thought that Ubisoft is gonna go down, you could have fucking waited and bought it at a discount. If you're trying to become a major shareholder or a control packet owner in a company, you buy it when it's cheap, okay? Not you buy it when it's expensive, and then you deal with the consequences of it becoming cheap. People need to stop this garbage about, oh, Tencent planned this. If they planned this is the most autistic plan in the history of finance.
Ubisoft, and they're going to be successful at it. I guarantee you it's only a few years away before Tencent is complete owners of Assassin's Creed.
I don't even think America's going to allow that.
Rainbow Six, the Far Cry series, they are going to be complete owners of all that stuff. It's only a matter of time, and they know exactly what they're doing to take down this particular company from the inside, because Ubisoft is doing it.
It's not doing. Tencent is just capitalizing on the ability to do so because they're already in. Again, they did not buy these shares in the hope that, oh, 80% of our investment is going to collapse. No, they did not do that.
To themselves. They're ran by complete psychos. Eve has not been doing his job for the longest time.
He does have those crazy eyes. It's true, it's true, it's true. Anyway, that was Hypnotic 10 out of 10. Bye.